"You won't get Jack from me," Elmer shouted, waving his arms. "Get out of here." He added a few more choice words, the kind Flash had never heard before but instantly knew what they meant. He stumbled outside. Where was he? What happened to little Abner's beautiful vision? He simply sat on the curb, the cold nestled close. He was aware of passing people, but they now ignored him, and he reciprocated. He saw a large clock hanging from a wall and stared at it. The hands were slowly moving. He shivered, but not from the afternoon chill. Time had not existed before. He fought his battles, talked with associates, plotted his actions, and resolved his conflicts without recourse to a watch. There was really no time, day or date. They were incidentals that held no meaning, except in the occasional episode when a bomb might explode before it could be defused. Yet even then, time seemed suspended. He had never aged, few of the people he knew did. Skeenics grew older in Gasoline Alley. Farley the dog had died, of course. Everyone else looked and talked the same as they had decades ago when he first encountered them. Besides, what did time mean? Superman seemed to reside in the 1930s, but Spider-Man lived in the present. The Peanuts gang could be in any decade. Mary Worth seemed to have gotten more in tune with the modern times, but she still hid her drinking problem, so it was hard to tell. Time had simply never made an impact on Flash. It did now. So did the awareness that passing time also reflected mortality. Death was never an option in his own world. Death had a home beyond the lines. He saw it in the face of a young man who inhaled tobacco smoke deep into his slowly decaying lungs. In the eyes of an old woman, tottering along the sidewalk with a blank expression and trembling limbs. In the uneven gait of a young woman whose face spoke of surprising age and sorrow. He wanted to return behind the lines, those safety barriers that protected him. "Dude, you're something. What a rad outfit," someone said. Flash glanced up. A younger man was standing a scant few inches away, smiling broadly. Robin, no, Flash quickly realized, not the boy wonder, his counterpart in this life. Back home, Robin was forever young and energetic. Time had already etched deep lines in the folds around this man's eyes. He had a ring embedded into his eyebrow and 5 earrings on his right ear. Nor did he exhibit any athleticism. His body was slightly bent, the shoulders sagged, and his stomach had started to creep across his belt. "Where'd you get that get-up?" the young man continued enthusiastically. Flash mumbled something and shook his head. "I know a place you can crash, dude," the man said with a knowing look on his face. He helped Flash to his feet. "You must be freezing." He turned him around. "Go over to Lex, take the second turn. It's down around 13th Street. "Sure," Flash muttered, as if he understood the directions. Where was he? Manhattan. Seemed like New York. That was different, too, than the New York in his world. There, people may be on the streets, but they seemed as so much fodder during adventures. He never really saw average residents this close. Besides, where he was usually was totally incidental. In his world, he could be anywhere, live anywhere. Now he was anchored to a particular locale. His feet felt leaden. The man finally left. Flash stayed. It would be so easy to go back, he thought. Immediately, he realized that there were no balloons over his head. He looked around. No one was talking with balloons. He stared hard at the people passing by. They were different. The Superman that he once knew had a sense of superficiality about him, as though drawn with a pen. His clothes were too vivid, almost surreal. These people, representing all ages, genders, and backgrounds, were mixed with grays and greens, reds and browns, with earth tones and sky tones running together in a rainbow riot. Yet they seemed so solid, so much more alive. He thought of Alfred's words, no history, no knowledge of a previous time. Pedestrians around him all revealed a past in their faces, their eyes, even their exposed hands. He could read the sorrow and the hard work, the pleasures and the pains, all mingled in deep-set eyes, bent shoulders, piles of packages and proud walks. The impact of these revelations overwhelmed him. He would be safer in his own home. He would never grow old, never change. Like little Abner, he could eventually sit by himself and hope another adventure was about to arrive. He could carry on a secret life, away from the panels and yet be held to them, forever required for all his thoughts to pop up in little balloons above his head. Or he could stay here, become one with these people, shed his red outfit and his superhero abilities, grow old and struggle. For the first time in his life, Flash did not know what to do, nor was there anyone to guide him. "Where are you going to spend eternity?" a small voice asked in his ear. "That's what I've been thinking about," Flash muttered. "It's your choice," the voice continued. "That's the problem," Flash said. He felt a presence to his left and looked up. A young man with short hair and a steady smile gazed down at him. He was dressed in a suit and had polished shoes and, apparently, a polished face. It shone. "I'm with Jehovah's Witnesses," the young man said. Consternation and concern filled his cherubic face. "I'm here to help you." He held out a pamphlet. "Read about God's plans for you." Flash glanced over the young man's shoulder and could see others, apparently clones of the young man, busily handing out pamphlets. The men all glistened, as though dipped in polish and left in the sun to dry. Then, too, he saw a man in a white robe, tapping ceaselessly on a small drum hanging in front of him. His hair had been cut into a topknot. He was trying to collect money in a small container held in his left hand, but enjoying little success. Yet, he persisted with that same blank look on his bland face. Flash looked at the title of the pamphlet, "The Answers to Your Questions." He grimaced, just like Bruce Wayne. Everyone had answers when they didn't even know the questions. He dropped the pamphlet and got to his feet. "Elmer," he said, entering the battered doorway with the steel barricade hovering above and waiting electronic orders to drop. Looking up from his crossword puzzle, Elmer sneered and spat some loose tobacco from his mouth. His cigar burned slowly and seemed a beacon in a dark corner of the world. "I need a job," Flash said. "You need a lot more than that," Elmer responded slowly. "Got to start somewhere," Flash said. Elmer nodded. "We all do," he said wearily. "I came here 40 years ago with nothing. I've been there." He waved an arm. "Pick out what you need." Flash felt tears in his eyes. His heart surged. He actually felt some emotion. The impact stunned him for a moment. "Get moving," Elmer ordered. "We'll have customers in here later. It's Christmas, you know. Macy's can't get 'em all." Flash held out a hand. "Thanks," he said. Elmer didn't take the proffered hand. "What am I supposed to call you?" he asked. "Friends call me Flash. After the cartoon guy." "Yeah, they thought I looked like him." Elmer sniffed. "Naw, he was my favorite as a kid. Haven't seen him in the comic books much lately." "No," agreed Flash. "Probably a lot less in the future." He then found some clothes and got dressed amazingly slowly.